to go over those relationships, the beliefs that we spoke about yesterday. Today, we're diving into a new topic, and that's understanding anxiety. And if you don't have anxiety and you have stress, replace the word anxiety with stress or overwhelmed or frustration or anger or any behavior that you have that you no longer want, right? So we're going to go over understanding your needs and identifying ways to create new behaviors so that you don't have to feel that way anymore. How does that sound? Okay, so here we go. We're going to dive right in. Day 2. Everything in your life is a pattern. The way you show up, the way you react, the emotions you live in every day, those are triggered by patterns, either learned behavior or behaviors that you have associations to different things, and it automatically triggers those behaviors. So today, I really wanted to give you an opportunity to dive into understanding your patterns, because when you understand a pattern, then you can break your pattern and create new ones to fulfill new needs and excitement in your life. So here we go, day 2. We're going to go over Tony Robbins' models of the human needs, because everybody has these 6 human needs, and you meet your needs all the time. Everything you do meets these needs. And I'm going to go through these needs, and I want to share with you a chance to identify a behavior that you would like to shift. So I want you to take a moment right now and identify a behavior you would like to shift. To give you an example, I was an emotional eater. I was attached to food for many years. And so that was a behavior that I really wanted to change. I didn't want to have to eat my way through life anymore. I didn't want to have to hide in the closet and eat. I didn't want to battle with my weight anymore. So that was a behavior. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to right now to write down on page 2 a behavior that you want to shift. Okay. So these needs, so we have 6 human needs. 2 of them tend to be more spiritual, which is growth and contribution, and the other 4 are human needs. Your top 2 needs is what you do most in your life. Those are the needs that you fulfill with most of your activities. But no, there's no one need better than another. And you do different things in your life to fulfill these needs. Now, here's the kicker. Not everything you do fulfills these needs in a positive way. In fact, if you were suffering with any type of behavior that makes you feel less than happy, excited, and content, then you are fulfilling your needs in an unhealthy manner. So let's go over the needs. So if you haven't gotten your workbook, get it out, write down a behavior you want to work on. And so here we're going to get started. The first need I want to talk about is the need for certainty. The need for certainty is the idea of having everything lined out. A, B, C, D. This is how I'm going to do my day. I'm going to get up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. It's very routine, very repetitive. We all have a need for certainty. Some people have a higher need for certainty than other people. Think about it. If your schedule gets mixed up, does it throw you for a loop? Then you have a higher need for certainty. And then the other way you meet certainty is if you say A and B happens. It's like you know that there's going to be a certain reaction to something. So when I was addicted to food years ago, food met my need for certainty. It met my need for certainty in the sense that I was certain that food was always going to be there for me. And I was certain that food was always going to make me feel better in the moment and then make me feel guilty and shameful 20, 30 minutes later. So when you think about your behavior, does it fulfill the need for certainty for you? If it does, put a little check mark next to certainty and make a comment if you would like. So check mark for certainty. Next is uncertainty. Uncertainty is the need to have variety in your life, the need to have things different and changing and moving. Now, we all have a need for certainty. Again, some are higher and some are lower. And so some people's needs for them are higher or lower. So uncertainty showing up in an unhealthy manner could look like chaos, could look like messes and disorganization and the need to be flying all over the place, like going here to there, everywhere, the fighting, bickering. Those are all possible ways to fulfill your need for variety in an unhealthy manner. And so for someone that has a high need for variety, for myself, I did choose to have my house a mess or fight with my husband to create variety in my life. And my days were being repetitive and I couldn't handle that. So I had to spice it up, but I didn't know how to do it in a healthy manner. So I did it in all those unhealthy matters. If we go back to my addiction with food, food gave me variety. Excuse me. It gave me the opportunity to eat something sweet or salty or crunchy or gooey or, all the different things. And it gave me a variety of emotions when I ate them. It gave me excitement or comfort or calming or stress releasing. So it gave me a variety of emotions as I ate as well. So look at your behavior that you are looking to switch and see if it meets your need for variety. Next is significance. And with significance is the feeling of feeling important, but the importance piece can come in a negative way. You look at negative behaviors, negative ways of receiving attention, or a positive way. And I remember a client that was with me a long time ago, and she was a young girl, and she was sick, and she had a lot of stomach and digestive issues, and she wouldn't go out a lot and didn't want to have any type of relationships because she was afraid of what would happen with her stomach. Well, she got a lot of attention being sick. And once she realized that she could get attention in a different way, she miraculously was better. So looking at the significance, seeing if it's giving you a feeling of importance in a negative way or a positive way. Is it bringing you into victimhood? The woe is me, I call it, like, woe is me, this is my life. Is it giving you something to complain about all the time? Then it fulfills the need for significance. The next one is love or connection. See, we all want love in our life, but if we don't have love, we'll settle for connection. And that could be any type of connection, healthy relationships or unhealthy relationships. If I look at, I didn't give you my example with food, with significance, it made me feel so important because my life revolved around food. I always had food out. I always entertained with food. I was always making food. It made me feel important. And it also gave me something to talk about, my weight. I was never happy with the way I looked or the way I was feeling because I was always eating. So it gave me significance in not such a healthy way. If we look at loving connection, food gave me connection for sure. First of all, a physical connection, right? Hand to mouth connection. And then also it made me connect with different emotions and different feelings for the moment, right? And then it gave me connection with beating myself up afterwards. So I was still connecting with myself, just not in a healthy way. Okay. The next one, so write down, put a check mark next to that if you're getting love or connection from your behavior. The next one you want to take a look at is growth. Growth is the ability or desire to want to learn and grow, but you want that to come from a place of feeling fulfilled. So is it coming from a place of not always feeling enough? So if you look at my food addiction, it was because I never felt like I was enough in my body. I never felt like I was good enough, that I kept having to hide who I was, that I was hiding behind my food, right? So it didn't necessarily give me the growth in that aspect. It kept me from not growing, right? But I wanted to grow, so I started to grow this way instead of mentally grow. And then, but it did keep me in growth because I always learned new recipes. I always wanted to learn new things and learn different ways to cook and new diets and all of that. So it kept me addicted to the growth aspect of learning all different ways to eat. The last need is contribution. And contribution is the ability to give back. And what happens with growth and contribution is if we aren't fulfilled in our heart, then we typically do things to grow and contribute to see if we can get that sensation of connection and love within ourselves. So contribution needs to come from a place of feeling full already and to give to others. and not to give to others to feel full, even though you do receive as you give. Absolutely. So if I looked at look at your behavior. Does it feel the need for growth or contribution? And then I want you to count how many check marks you have and share the check marks here. Share them in the comments. And know if you have 3 or more check marks. See, food gave me certainty, it gave me uncertainty, it gave me significance, it gave me loving connection, and it gave me growth. It fulfilled 5 needs. 5 of my human needs were being fulfilled by having an eating disorder. When your behavior meets 3 or more, it becomes an addiction. So you become addicted to that behavior. And so I offer this opportunity to change your addiction, right? You signed up here to make changes in your life. And so it's time for you to change your behaviors. Start looking at things in a different way. So first comment, if you have 3 or more. And then what I like you to do is decide what it is you want versus what you were doing. So if I was an emotional eater, the opposite for me would be, I feel safe expressing my emotions, right? So I was hiding all of my emotions with my food. So I wanted to feel safe with expressing my emotions. So that's the new behavior I wanted. What's your new behavior? Share below. What is your new behavior that you want for yourself? And now, looking at what check marks you have, let's figure out a way to create these new behaviors for yourself, to solidify, to become addicted to this new behavior, right? So for me, if I go back to my food example, for me, I had to figure out how is feeling safe expressing my emotions, how does that fill my need for certainty? Well, it felt my need for certainty because I created a belief that being able to feel my emotions always feels safe. So I can have certainty in expressing my emotion. I always will feel safe. That's how I created certainty with my new behavior that I wanted. If you look at variety or uncertainty, the new behavior is I feel safe feeling my emotions, and it gave me variety because I got to feel all these different emotions instead of numbing myself down. I got to feel happy, excited, lonely, tired, angry, all of it. And I had to feel it so that I could release it. So it was helpful in that way. It gave me connection to myself. I connected with myself. So with loving connection, it gave me connection with myself so that I could feel myself, be with myself, own myself, nurture myself. So feeling safe gave me that. Significance, it made me feel important that I was actually taking the time to honor me and where I was. So that gave me a sense of significance. So do you see how I'm taking the human needs that my old behavior gave me, and I'm creating a new belief and supporting it with different ways to meet my needs? So that's where this question comes in. What is your new and healthy way to fulfill your need? And I want you to take this new behavior that you want, and for homework, I want you to identify how you can fill each need with this new behavior. Because when you do, you can take on these new behaviors and begin to live a happy, healthy, more fulfilled life. You know, it was years that I struggled with body image, years that I struggled with eating, and the tools that I'm sharing with you, I was able to switch that around in my mind in less than 10 weeks. Totally flipped my relationship with food in less than, and then 2 weeks, and solidified it within 10. And so I encourage you to take this time to go ahead and decide, do you want to stay in anxiety? Do you want to stay in stress? Do you want to stay in overwhelmed? No, you don't, or else you wouldn't have signed up. You want to take this time to shift. So I encourage you to go ahead and rewrite how you want to feel, and then what needs that you can meet that way and how you're going to meet them. That's your homework for day 2. Stay committed, stay connected, reach out if you have any questions. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So until tomorrow, go ahead and rewrite story. Begin to create bigger change in your life and solidify that new feeling and new belief that you want to have about taking care of you and whatever it is for you. Until tomorrow, have a great